Love this opening song. Hey everybody, welcome. Ron Onesti here in rock and roll heaven outside of Chicago and St. Charles at the Arcada Theater. We are hanging and banging tonight with my brothers Vinny Appice and Carmine Appice with our special guest John Payne and Gilby Clarke. Another great episode, our 44th week here on Artists on Lockdown. And let's get the party started and bring to the microphone my brother, Mr. Vinny Appice. Let's see what he's got to say about things this week. Hi, Vin. Wake up. I timed myself. It was like 14 seconds. Now, don't even.
Where are you? Look at that monitor behind you, man.
That's pretty serious stuff. Hey. I am playing. I'm at the point now. That's nice. When you guys come into my place and I got to rent backline for you, I'm renting backline for this show now. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's a big monitor. You got the whole.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's good.
It's really cool. Yeah.
And look at that shirt. Why? They always come in square too, right?
No, they don't. It's our printing presses. We make thousands of them, and it's just square. Anyway,
square kind of thing.
Let's bring our big brother to the microphone. We got a full show tonight, like we do all the time. Carmine Appice, Vanilla Fudge, and so many other things. What's up, Carmine?
Hey, dude. Oh, this thing's in the way. Look at this, my microphone.
Yeah, come on. You can't cover that.
There you go. Okay. How you doing, dude? How you doing?
So good to see you. Love the albums on the cover.
Hey, Vinny.
Vinny's just trying to
figure
out.
What's going on? Did you get home okay?
Yeah, I did. Everything's good. We just released our Cactus Tightrope record. It's doing well. We have to feature it on one of these shows.
Absolutely. Really, and we got to get a date down. I mean, let's
go.
Let's do it. Let's pick a date. I'm telling you, before I do anything else, I want you guys to pick a date.
We're going to be doing Yardbirds, Cactus, and Pat Travis together.
Wow, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Well, we're gonna have to change the name of the show because gigs are coming up now.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you guys about that offline, but we're going to have some stuff going on Thursday night.
So it'll be gigging and banging.
Gigging and banging. Where are they? Where are they in the country or in the world?
Yeah, right.
That would be good. We should do that. We could do backstage, and we can have the live. This would be awesome. We'll talk about this. But hey, guys.
Hey, we got to do a Hangin' and Bangin' live at your place.
You know what?
Yeah,
we got so much to talk about.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I've got hotel suites now in my place, like the Sinatra suite, the Zeppelin suite, the Vinny suite, the Carmine suite. Well, the Vinny suite is where the housekeeping keeps the cart, but we can move it over.
Somebody said, AC said, "Nice shirt, Ron."
Yeah.
Well, at least she got.
That's nice. So what? It's square, Hey.
What do you have on your hat tonight that you're picking?
This is 13, my birthday.
I got 60s tie-dye.
Because that never goes out of style. I'm just saying.
I never wear printed shirts. I have one printed shirt, an Affliction shirt. That's it.
Well, that's, we got to get you some Arcada shirts, some swag. Guys, you believe this is 44th square.
44 shows without an Arcada shirt. That's all I see it as.
Yeah,
okay.
That's great.
All right, we got to send these guys some Arcada swag.
Pretty amazing 44 shows, though.
It really is, man. I mean, think about it. 44 is getting really close to 52. A full year. You believe that?
A full year of this stuff.
8 years difference, yeah.
I love when you get to be profound, but it makes everybody just stop and think
for a minute.
You can't fool me.
All his life, he's been like that all his life.
Oh my gosh!
He used to stop my mother in his tracks.
Hey, I got a royalty check here from Carmine's company, Power Rock Enterprises.
Oh, did you really? How much?
Check it out.
How much?
What do you got there?
I can't
see it. How much is it?
See it?
$10.33.
10.33. That's bigger.
Right?
At least that's got dollars. The last few checks only had cents on it.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you know who sent it out? You know who sent that out?
No, it was hand delivered by my brother Frank.
Your older brother.
I don't even know who buys. I don't know what's that for.
I don't know what
that is.
Didn't he give you a statement?
I think it's attached.
Yeah, the statement was, "This is BS." That was the statement.
He said, "Here's the statement. Here's a statement. I quit from delivering these stupid little checks all my life, Frank.
Guys,
it
we got
was
a big,
gross of $12.
we got
take
a
taxes out?
big, huge
took
show
tax-
tonight.
Come on, you
I'd
took
love to
taxes
chat
out?
with you guys. I'd love to chat about Vinny's challenged income situation right now.
We can
I
go
mean,
to
he's the-
In-N-Out Burger and
You're
eat.
talking Black Sabbath, freaking
Right.
Dio. You're talking Last in Line. You're talking a check of $10.53. How's the career going?
It's good. It's good.
We're going to play some karaoke bars soon. But anyway, let's get to our guest tonight because we got these. I love these guys. I'm telling you.
Good guys.
Oh, just tremendous. And I got to say,
Yeah.
we've had some great guests every week. I mean, like good people, you know?
We do, yeah.
And Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope
Teddy's
he's not
great.
watching. I hope he's not watching.
You know what? No, he knows we love him because
I know, he does.
he's been really cool with us. Not a whole lot of politics. No, just it's all about rock and roll. And that's what I love when he plays my place.
Yeah.
I say, Ted, just kind of minimize it a little bit. He's like, he gives me 2 hours of solid rock and roll. Really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring to the microphone our first guest. Really excited about him. All kinds of things. You know him from Guns N' Roses, but so many other things. We got a lot to talk about. Let's bring our buddy Gilby Clarke. Where you at, brother?
Hey,
There he
Hey,
is.
dude.
what's
Hey.
up, guys? How are you?
Gilby,
Happy
Gilby.
to be here.
Well, welcome. You're hanging and banging with two legends on your left there, or your right, maybe.
Yeah, right on, man. I
On his
mean,
left.
it's going to get loud in here, that's for sure.
How
Yeah.
did you meet these? You know Carmine, don't you?
Yeah, I know Carmine. I
Yeah.
don't know Vinny, but I've seen Vinny
Yeah.
play many times.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
going back to the Derringer days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah.
I was there.
I was a huge Derringer fan. Huge.
Oh,
huge.
really?
Darren's just going to be on this show in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're excited.
with
what-
Weird
what's-
Al.
When I first moved to California from Cleveland, and bands like Van Halen and Quiet Riot and all those bands were just starting out, and I never saw Van Halen live in the club days, but I saw Randy Rhoads and all them, and my friends were talking about this guy, Eddie Van Halen, how great he was, that you've never seen anything like it. My quote was, "He'll never be Rick Derringer."
Oh wow, that's a great. Let's save that story for next week.
He was my
Yeah,
hero,
that's good.
man.
That's a good one.
I tell
Actually,
you what,
I saw Van Halen at the Whiskey
Wow.
when I moved out here.
Yeah.
And that was right after Derringer, and they said, you should check this band out, Van Halen. Van Halen, okay. So I went to the Whiskey, and it was packed, of course, and man, that was great. Eddie was,
Yeah. The local bands
bad.
back then were insane, just insane.
yeah.
Well, did you get so you said one of your icons, obviously. Did you were you influenced like methodically how you played by him?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we all have our influences, and stuff. He was everything I wanted to be. It's like he could sing, he could play guitar, he could write songs, he played with other people. There's just something about him that I really related to, and I loved his music. It's like every record, was to me perfect. I said I knew every word to every song. I mean, back then I wasn't really listening to records to learn to play guitar. I was just like listening to them for, I just like their music.
Sure.
Well, somebody's
Wow.
chimed in there watching from Lyon, France.
I know.
All right.
Wow.
Well, everybody, we've got the chat going, so anybody have any questions for our guests towards the end of the show, I'll check out some questions, and if they're cool questions, we'll ask our guests, and you'll win a prize. I don't know what it's going to be. Dinner with Gilby Clarke at his home.
Hey,
Anytime.
I'll send them this.
Yes.
I'll send them this.
know
I'll
what?
endorse it.
All kidding aside, a freaking autographed thing like that from you, I want that.
And I got the one for 29 cents down there, too, somewhere. I saw it the other day.
You guys are hysterical. Hey, let's bring our next guest. Also going to join us with our little our jam here tonight. One of the greatest voices in rock and roll. Love this guy. Again, so many other things he's been a part of. Of course, you know him from Asia. Let's bring John Payne, our buddy.
John.
Hey,
There he is. Hey.
There he is. Hey,
Hey.
Johnny.
Hi, John.
how are you?
Good, man. How you doing, bro?
Not bad at all.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
can we just let you talk for the rest of the show, just with your accent?
I'll
please?
talk a load of rubbish. Yeah, I'm really from Queens, New York.
Yeah, right. Queens
David-
in your dreams.
Yeah, yeah. Now that's another story.
Right.
There's like David Coverdale. I had elocution lessons
Really?
to speak properly.
Hey, Dick, and now we got everybody saying where they're from. We got Sweden, Philadelphia, Tennessee.
Wow.
Everybody keeps saying where you from. Chime in so we
Montreal,
know where
yeah.
we're
Let-
talking to.
Las
We are-
Vegas.
Germany,
worldwide.
Germany.
Gilby Clarke,
Wow.
Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good.
So, guys, welcome to Hangin' Bangin'. So good to see you. John, what have you been doing to keep your chops going? I mean, you got to be, we're going to start opening the venue soon. So
Yeah, and we're playing at your place at some stage when it gets
Yeah.
August
rescheduled.
28th.
Yeah,
August 28th.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been there for a while.
Yes.
And looking forward to having a nice meal beforehand.
Yeah.
I love
The
cooking for you.
meatballs, the meatballs.
Yes, it's lovely. But yeah, I've been. I set up a studio here in Las Vegas. Well, I bought a house and it stopped becoming a house. It's basically a studio with a couple of bedrooms. I've got a 80-channel mixing console. It's all analog and stuff, and 25-foot ceilings, and it's really helped out during this time of no concerts. I mean, I came back from a cruise, which many of us have done, the rock and roll cruises out of Fort Lauderdale on March 15th, and America was shut down. And basically until last weekend, that was the first time I did a gig. And it's been over a year without a show.
Where'd you do a gig?
I did a corporate gig in Dallas for a guy's birthday, a guy called Dave Stickland, who's actually an English guy, and it was his wife Andrea's birthday, and they bought the hotel for 3 nights, with a Virgin Hotel there, and Coolio was on, Young MC, Tone Loc, and
John Payne.
and me with the Asian band, and we had Billy Gibbons do 12 songs with us.
Oh, man.
Which was phenomenal. And Billy's tone, he had a Magnavox amp, and his tone was just superb. And he sang great, and he was really cool. He goes, "Okay, you sing every other line in Sharp Dressed Man." So I got to sing Sharp Dressed Man with Billy, and he's a gentleman, a real gentleman, and hopefully I'll work with him again.
Yeah, we did a gig with Drum Wars, me and Vinny, last year, just before the everything shut down in Washington, D.C., and Billy was the special guest. And I think I played. You didn't get to play with him, right, Vin? I played with him, I think.
No, I played with him at some point, but we had to play really low.
Yeah,
he plays very quiet. He has no monitors on stage or anything. It's unbelievable.
So Gilby, listen to this. We're setting up just before the show. Billy actually rehearsed one day at my house here in Vegas. We all rehearsed in the house. And we got him a couple of monitors, and he just plugged into one of the amps here and was so low maintenance. We come to do the gig, and we're all on in-ears. We take our in-ear system with us. And he goes to me, he goes, "Hey, get the sound guy over." And he goes, "Sound guy," he goes, "What are these?" He said, "They're wedges for you. You've got 2 wedges." He goes, "I don't want these." He says, "Why?" He goes, "I spent a lot of money on these shoes. People have got to see my shoes."
Probably the velvet ones,
Yeah, the velvet ones. And
That's a
the
good one.
monitors are stripped away, and he just hears his voice from out front.
From out front. Isn't that insane?
It is insane, but it's the same thing with a lot of the early English vocalists, and how I learned as well. There's like Steve Marriott and
Hey,
all these
Vanilla
guys.
Fudge had no monitors for years.
Well,
No
look at
monitors.
Rod Stewart. You divert these croaky voices because you had to sing above everything else, and the PA was out in front of you. I never had wedges at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know-
the first time I had wedges was 1973 with BBA. It's the first time.
Right.
Before that, Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, no wedges.
I mean, that's
Singing background
impossible. Think
vocals.
about it.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, if you're used to it and you do it every night, you really don't know the difference. You know?
I
It's
guess.
crazy.
Yeah.
I've done lots of gigs with Billy, and it just blows my mind because you're right. He plays quiet volume, and he doesn't want any weight. He wants to just hear the surroundings. you know?
Yeah, and he was saying that he said that ZZ Top plays so quietly on stage. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
That's the trick. Yeah.
he's got tone for miles, and
Yeah.
seven gauge strings, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And a great guy too.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Loves everybody. Great, generous with the fans. Just has a great time. I don't know how he gets those hats that are like knitted for him or whatever the heck he's wearing, but a great guy. I'm going to throw it a different direction here. So, you guys, I put on Italian festivals in Chicago here, and one year I had Nancy Sinatra at my Italian festival. So, so what do I get, right? I've got all these blue hairs, they think she's going to come out and do Fly Me to the Moon and New York, New York, and they're all sitting there, and she comes out, and her band all looking like Gilby. Wow. Boots was like a rock thing. People almost gave people heart attacks. But Gilby, you played with Nancy.
Yeah, many years, like about 5 years.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
made a couple records with her, and when I first started with her, she had Hal Blaine on drums.
Wow,
isn't that amazing?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is really great, and it's Don Randy that owns the Baked Potato here in Los Angeles. So Don was her musical director, and I used to go out there on Tuesday nights. Carmen, you've been there a few times.
Yeah.
And Don came up to me one time and said, Nancy's going to do a record and tour. Would you be interested? And I go, you do hear how loud I play.
I know.
and they goes, Nancy always likes to have two guitar players. She likes a rock and roll guy, and she wants someone who plays the jazz. So I got in there with her, and the first thing it's a reading gig. They just hand you the sheet music.
Oh.
And I mean, I can read like most musicians, chord charts, things like that, And I started looking at the hardest problem I had is they're all from the 60s and they're written in pencil.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but my eyes aren't so bad, but I mean, pencil. I was like, and then she hand you sheet music. I go, I think I can figure this one out with the sheet music, because the songs weren't that hard, except for some of the jazz stuff. But I ended up, like I said, did many years with Hal, and then I actually brought in Clem Burke, played drums with her for quite a few years.
Clem's a great drummer. He used to go to Fox and Hounds on Ventura Boulevard, and I bumped into Clem many times in there.
Yeah, he's
It's
great.
a good thing you didn't get Vinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the stage.
If she did any ballads, forget about it. Vinny's one
That's
of
the
his
thing.
fortes is no ballads.
I used to turn my Marshall cabinet the other way, away from the front, because it was a little bit loud. But she loved it. She's sweetheart. Yeah, I was raised. My family's Italian, so the only problem about those tours were I gained 20 to 30 pounds every time because they always go to the best Italian restaurant in town at 3:00 in the morning.
Right. It's like her dad.
They kept open. They kept it open.
They kept it open for
they
her.
used to do that.
And you go and you eat, and it's like and then you go to bed, and what happens then? So.
They did that with Rod Stewart too. We used to finish the gig and then go to the best restaurant in town, and then go to bed.
You go to bed, and it just sits
I stopped
there.
I stopped doing it. I said I can't do this. I'm just getting.
Well, you stopped going to bed.
I would just go to bed.
Just stay at the Italian restaurant.
So you mentioned Gilby Clarke's name. I got to be honest. Nancy Sinatra's probably not the first name that comes to mind when I mention yours. Just like when I mention John Payne, like Johnny Cash's stepdaughter doesn't come to my mind.
I know, that's weird, isn't it?
How did that happen?
I know. I worked with her for 3 years, and Carlene Carter is just such a cool singer, and I did a project with her in Canada, in Scandinavia, and it did really well. And we occasionally keep in touch, but it's kind of bizarre.
What kind of music was that?
It was a rock with a bit of country and western in it, and there were two Norwegian stars, and me and Carlene, and it was a cool record. It was actually produced by the same guy that did the band TNT out of Trondheim up in the north in Norway.
What did the CCP, is that the Russian CCCP?
So it was Carlene, Casino, Claudia.
Okay. I know that Russia used to be called CCCP. I thought it had something to do with that.
Well, I kind of think it was just a play on it, really.
Oh, okay. It was Swedish, wasn't it? Some kind of a
Norwegian.
Norwegian. Right.
So what I want to know is, who in your family was Italian, Gilby?
My mother.
Your mother. What was
Yeah,
the
my
last
mother,
name?
Santorelli.
Oh,
Hey, yo.
Just like Eddie Trunk, his mother.
Yeah.
Is Italian too. We're finding all these cool things out on this show. You know?
I know. It really is. It really is. But Gilby, would you do me a favor from now on? Could it be Gilbi, please?
Oh, there you go. I know Clark isn't very Italian.
Well, it does end in a vowel, though. I
It's
appreciate
funny
you throwing
'cause-
that E in there.
Clarke.
I'm sure you guys can all relate. You know, it's like you go through your life, people are like, yeah, I'm Italian. They go, Clark? It's
Yeah.
not Italian. Oh, well, it's my mother,
Yeah.
which was the good food side.
So
Well,
Gilby,
you could look Italian. You got,
he looks
you know.
Italian.
He looks Italian.
yeah.
He looks
He's got the
Italian.
mustache.
The mustache.
Come on. Just like our moms.
Well, my brother Frank used to have that mustache, but he had short hair. So we used to tell him he looked like a porn star. He had the short hair and
The
the
big
mustache.
porn handle.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy. Yeah.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
Gilby,
Right.
I gotta go to the GNR years because I'm hearing all these stories. Obviously we know about the lovely and talented Axl Rose, how his freaking whirl little nuts. How did you? It seemed like you were like literally like a ping pong ball, being like or like a cat with a mouse. That whole experience is like freaking weird. In a nutshell, what was that about?
Well, the good thing for myself was by the time I got in the band, I actually just turned 30. So, from being around Hollywood all those years, you have some pretty crazy experiences. So by the time I got into the band, been around a little bit, and I knew the guys, like as friends, and actually I knew Izzy the best, which was odd because I ended up replacing him. But what I kind of caught on with the band was it just kind of seemed like it was a disaster, like every day. But for some reason, it always worked out. It's like it used to blow my mind from being in bands and making records. Like whenever something bad happened, it was so dramatic and it could take your band down. But with that band, it's like the worse things happened, it's like the better it was. It's almost like a promo or something.
It was late, but it worked out.
Exactly. Yeah, we were a little bit late every night, but yeah, Slash kind of told me early on. He goes, one of the great things about being in a band, it was like the license to be a fuck up. It's like you really could practically get away with murder.
But when you did the Stone song with Slash, like was that your idea? Was that?
Oh,
his
it
idea?
was, yeah. So here's what's interesting. When I got the gig, I played with them a couple times. Like I basically, from the day that I walked into the rehearsal studio with them, within 2 weeks I was on stage with them. But so I only played with them a couple times, and I was talking with them for about a week, and then Slash called me and says, "You got the gig. The first show's next week. Learn the whole catalog." And that time it was a 50-song catalog.
Oh.
And I said, "Well, why don't you just give me the set list?" And they said, "There is no set list. We make it up as it goes along."
Yeah.
So I literally had a week to learn 50 songs, and this is before YouTube.
Man.
So I just sat there, with a cassette player, realistically, and learned everything. And then when I got to the very first show, we were at soundcheck, and Slash came up to me and he goes, "What are you going to do for your solo?" And I went, "Solo? The fuck am I? You're the lead guitar. What am I going to do? I'm going to sit there and play guitar," and then Slash comes up, who everybody knows. I'm not. So I came up with an idea. I go, "Well, maybe I'll play a little bit of Wild Horses.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come doodle with me," and it happened the same day, the first day, and it just kind of organically grew into something that was kind of fun. Like every night we changed it up a little bit.
But I'll tell you what, it became a highlight of the show.
Oh, thank God. I don't know. There's some
No, it
great
did.
stuff going on, but it was fun. It was fun because we never. That one thing about that band is it never planned anything. Even the day I got in, I was never told what to play, what to wear, what to do. It's like all that was let go.
Was Steven the drummer when you came in, or was it Matt?
Matt came in first. Matt was in about a year before I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you never played with Steven Adler?
Not with them. I played with Steven since, but not during
Right.
those years, no.
Yeah.
So John, just like as Gilby joining like a band that was going, heroes of his at the time, friends of his, John Wetton, obviously you replaced him, and how was that joining, a band such as an international superstar band? Little nervous?
It was difficult. You're talking about Kolodner named them the first supergroup.
Wow.
You got ELP, UK, Buggles, Yes, all forming this band. And there's me sort of coming from nowhere. So it was quite unnerving. And our first gig was at NHK Hall in Japan, in Tokyo, where we had 3 nights. And I didn't know what to expect, and luckily it went well. But I must admit, I don't really get nervous at shows, but those first few shows, I was terrified. I was terrified more of what people would say about me. And
Of course.
and still, you even ask Brian Johnson, or you ask anybody that's joined a band, even if it's the Rolling Stones, you're the new boy, even if you've been in the band for 40 years. It never changes.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're the new guy.
Were they welcoming? I mean, I haven't played. I've had those guys. I had Asia at my place a couple times, and I mean, they're all nice guys. Three out of 4 of them were for sure.
So they're really quirky. They're really quirky. And as a band, it's not like they all go and hang out together. Same with Yes. It's like they all love each other and they all absolutely hate each other. And,
exactly.
You've got Steve Howe, who's very different from, say, John Whitten or Carl Palmer. They're really like 4 separate people. And that first Asia record, everyone expected it to be this prog extravaganza. Yeah. And it wasn't. It was a rock pop record.
Yeah.
And that there was always a lot of infighting and changing members and stuff. And I got on very well with Jeff, and we did all the songwriting when I joined. But there were some very bizarre moments in that band.
Well, Jeff was definitely the smiliest of them, because I don't think I met 4 guys that just never smiled at all, stayed in their dressing room until 1 minute to freaking showtime. And that's why I was wondering if they were, welcoming to you at first and warm, or was it just business? This is business.
I became friends with all of them, but it was all of them separately. It was like on a one-to-one. Mm-hmm. As a band, it wasn't like this big, like how my band is now and bands have been before. It wasn't like a big family. And it was all worked on a one-to-one. And then people, had their times. Steve would either be really happy or really pissed off.
Right.
And then there'd be, infighting. When you start a band...
Get that, will you?
If that's my mum, tell her I'm busy. They are all... It's not like a band that grew up together and stayed together and found this family. It's a band that already everybody was really successful. Everybody was probably a millionaire at the time, and they got together and were really put together by David Geffen and John Kolodner. And John Wetton wasn't even going to be the lead vocalist.
Really?
They tried the first guy from Journey for a while.
Greg Raleigh?
No, the guy. Can't think of his name.
Yes.
Come on.
Which guy is that? I thought it was Greg Raleigh before Steve Perry.
He did one. He did one freaking album or something.
He did?
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Oh, okay.
But there was a vocalist before Steve Perry.
Yeah.
And of course, Greg as well. And
it was Greg.
I've been lucky to work with Greg. Greg's a really, really cool guy. I mean,
phenomenal.
What a lot of people don't know is I started off as a guitarist, and you were talking about Van Halen, and I was obviously, like all of us, great fan of Eddie's playing, and I was in a 3-piece Hendrix type band in my village outside London, and I went to see my favorite guitarist at the time was Schenker, and Michael Schenker Group was supported by Van Halen at the Rainbow Theatre in London on their first tour.
Robert Fleischman?
Robert
Fleischman, correct. He was the first Journey vocalist.
He was?
So, yeah, I went and saw Michael Schenker Group supported by Van Halen, and I was this cocky kid who thought he was the bee's knees playing guitar, and I saw Eddie Van Halen come on first and went, "Oh shit!"
Right.
And then Shanko go, "Okay, I think I'm going to concentrate more on singing than guitar playing." But
Wow. Where some
latterly,
people influence you, he influenced you not to play.
yes. But now I'm back playing, and I love it. I play a lot with fingers. I play strangely. I only play downstrokes. But I got to do, I had this thing after my Vegas show called the Rock Pack, which is like the Rat Pack. But, Lou Graham's done it. Loads of singers. But I got to get to do some Santana stuff. And I bought a 60s SG and did all the early Santana stuff and played guitar. But, so that's how I started.
It's incredible, man.
Well, you mentioned Jeff and the Bungles.
Yes.
We played Ron's place with the Platinum Rock All Stars. They had Jeff, Rudy Sarzo, Gene Cornish, Bumblefoot, and who was the other guy?
Gene?
Robert Fleshman.
No. Phil Narrow, and we played that song. We played that song, Video Kills the Radio Star, and it was really funny.
The first song ever on MTV.
Yeah.
When they launched the satellite, that was the first one.
1980.
Video Kill the Radio Star.
I like your playing overhand there.
Yeah.
Vinny would never do that.
No,
Did you? No.
No.
Did you use brushes?
Oh no! I used the butt end of my stick like I always use.
Right.
Gilby, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Ben.
No, people go, "Do you use brushes?" I always reply, "Why is my hair messed up?"
Oh.
I can't picture
brushes.
you. You play a ballad before you use a brush.
Yeah.
Well, somebody said you play with brushes. I only use one.
Yeah. Vinny, I thought you used brushes on Heaven and Hell, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh no!
I'd love to hear that.
It would be called Heaven and
hair.
something else.
Heaven and Hell.
Heaven and brushes.
Heaven and Hell.
Now, Gilby, we talk a little bit about the GNR stuff. I mean, hours we could spend on the weirdness of that whole deal, man.
But wait, before you get going, it's
Yeah.
time for the commercial.
We can do that now. We'll do the commercial because I'll tell you what, we started doing these commercials. Next week, just like this week, an amazing show. Let's let everybody see what we got in store for them next week.
There you go.
Hi, this is Vinny Appice.
And come out of peace. It's not Appice, it's a piece. And we're here to
Same
tell
shirt.
you about our Hangin' Bangin' show.
Yeah, and we got some special guests on April 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
At 4 p.m.
Pacific.
Pacific. And the guests are Dweezil Zappa. It's like a Sons of Rockstar. We got Dweezil Zappa, the son of Frank Zappa, who's a friend of mine. And Dweezil played on my guitars, so I know Dweezil for a long time. And we also have
The son of the legendary Ginger Baker.
Yeah.
Kofi Baker, good friend also, and he's going to be there too.
Yeah, remember we did that gig together with him, and Drum Wars gig with Kofi, me and Vinny. It was awesome.
Nope.
So be there April 15th, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Western, or Eastern with Pacific, whatever you want to call it. And Artists on Lockdown on Facebook.
My sensors indicate an intruder is present.
That must be those colors.
Those guys.
We'll see you there.
You guys.
I only have one shirt.
As a matter of fact, that gig was at your place with Kofi.
Oh, I know that. I know.
Yeah,
Kofi.
yeah.
Kofi used to live in Chicago.
Oh,
He called me every week. You got any openings? You got any openings? I'm like, Kof, I can't. Legendary only goes so far every week here, man. We gotta.
Yeah.
But no, that's gonna be a great show. I'll tell you another. I mean, Dweezil, what a gentleman and what a genius. Really, that apple didn't fall short from the tree, as they say.
Yeah.
From the tree.
That's right.
So anyway, let me get
never
back to
met him.
Gilby.
No.
The GNR, another weirdness thing. Kind of weird. I don't know. So I'm not going to focus on this on the whole show, but I'm watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and Steven and you and how did that whole thing go down? Did you know you're going to be on that at the time?
Well, to be honest, I don't really follow that stuff,
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that GNR had been nominated, let alone, accepted or all that. I really wasn't paying attention, and then I got a call from Matt, and Matt told me, what was happening, and I go, whoa, that's kind of weird, because actually I didn't get inducted as part of the band. Matt and Dizzy did, along with the original five guys.
That's so weird, man.
Yeah, and I thought it was a little
Yeah.
odd, and so but by the time I found out, it was past, what was, going down, and they and so about 2 days before. First of all, I didn't think anybody was going to play or anything. 2 days before the show, Duff called me and says, "Hey, we're going to play." I go, "Oh, well, have a good time."
Yeah, right.
and he goes, I go, "Well, who's going to play?" I go, "I thought Axel's not going and Izzy's not going." He goes, "Well, they're not, but we want to do something." He goes, "Will you come out?" So my wife and I flew out, and we did the show. We literally rehearsed for it at 3:00 in the morning the night before. And that may sound weird, but Duff had a show in Cleveland the night before. He was doing something with his own band, and so we literally rehearsed after his show at 3:00 in the morning. So we actually, I played with Steven, Slash, and Duff, and then Miles Kennedy sang. But what was weird for me was, like I said, being not inducted. I didn't think it was so strange, because the Red Hot Chili Peppers were getting inducted at the same time. And like they did the same thing. They just kind of picked and choose. Like Dave Navarro, who had been on 2 multi-million-selling records, wasn't inducted with the Chili Peppers, but a guitar player that played on their first album was. So when I started hearing about all this stuff, I said, it is. I go, are we getting paid for it? No, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, see,
Hey,
that's
same thing with Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
The different versions. Ronnie didn't get inducted. I didn't get inducted. Just the original band. And meanwhile, it was another whole half a career
that had successful records, very big,
that brought it
successful
back.
records. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronnie joined.
Yeah.
And none of my bands got inducted. Vanilla Fudge, come
It's
on,
coming.
give me a break.
It's coming.
Ah,
We got-
bullshit.
We've
I
got
don't
auditions.
care.
We
I
can
don't
go on
care.
for hours about it. I mean, it just,
Awful.
we all, whether you care or don't care, I don't really
I
know
don't care.
if it affects anything. It's like,
No,
I always
it
say,
doesn't.
it's one more line in your bio that no one's paying attention to.
But then I got a spam
Okay.
email from them saying, "Why don't you visit our merchandise shop and pick out a nice gift?"
Yeah.
Like they want me to buy something from their merch.
Yeah, well, there you
I
go.
just
I
thought
said,
that's
I'll buy one shirt and you induct me.
Yeah.
deal.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I just thought that spoke volumes, the kind of guy you are, stand-up guy who did that. A lot of guys wouldn't have done it, and I think it was cool that you did that.
Well,
So-
thank you. I mean, to be honest, the only reason why I did it was because Duff asked me, and,
Yeah.
and Duff's my friend. Slash is
Yeah.
my friend, and and I did it plainly for that. I honestly didn't even think about all that other stuff. We had no roadies, no text, nothing. We
Oh,
literally
no.
walked.
Oh,
No, I'm not kidding, because
Wow.
it wasn't planned. We decided to do it, like I said, like a day or so before. I literally walked down and plugged into an amp I'd never seen before.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Wow.
We talked a little bit, John, you touched a little bit on the Rock Pack earlier. Obviously, I planned the words on the Rat Pack, only a rock and roll style Rat Pack, right?
That's cool. Good
And,
name.
yeah, very, very cool. And I was looking at some of the people that perform with this. It's a great concept. And could you, who was like your best combination, do you think? Who was someone that was like, man, we got to take this one on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a surprising thing, and I put it together quite shortly after leaving my Vegas show, Raiding the Rock Vault, in 2014. So I had this concept of having an English pub on stage, and my version of Asia would come out, do 3 Asia songs, and then a big screen would come up with a pub in Covent Garden in London, and then on one side of the stage there was this bar with a load of drinks in, with someone behind the bar, and I'd go and serve a drink. I said, I've known the guy 20 years, it's Lou Graham from Foreigner, and Lou would come out. I'd talk to him briefly for a couple of minutes about his career, and then we'd go and do 3 or 4 Foreigner songs.
It's a great
Basically,
concept.
everybody that did it, it was so cool. The first half would be the 3 Asia songs, and then Lou would come on and do one, and then Mickey Thomas would come on and do one, and Fee Waybill from the Tubes would come and do one, or they did three each, and then the second half it was just one, and then we'd all sing together at the end. But as performers, Tony Lewis from the outfield, who sadly,
God rest
one
his
of my
soul.
best friends, God rest his soul, he sang in the same keys. You know, he's got that Colin Hay Sting type voice. They're really high, singing in the same keys. His voice was just phenomenal. Mickey Thomas, still hitting the high E in Jane.
Wow.
You know? Robin Zander. And as a performer, Fee Waybill from the Tubes. What a great frontman, you know, from the early songs like White Punks on Dope to She's a Beauty, you know, which is very kind of hi-fi, and actually kind of difficult to play a lot of those songs. And I don't really think I had a favorite.
But the whole thing is just a great concept. I mean, you know, to bring like Lou, or you would have brought like a Tony, or like 2 or 3 of those guys and do a show like that. Bring them on, bring them on. Like it's a greatest hits kind of a thing hosted. I mean, as a promoter and a venue owner, I would have been first in line. Like, I want that show.
Yeah, at one stage, we had like 6 people involved in it, from Steve Walsh in Kansas, you know, doing Dust in the Wind, and
I mean, come on.
We played a few stadiums down in Florida with it, and it was very, very cool. And I continue to do a similar thing still.
Well,
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, man.
You're not only a venue owner and a promoter.
This is going to be a shot, guys.
You're a talk show host now, too. You got to add that in the resume.
Listen, for me to be the second banana to the Appice Peace Brothers, are you kidding me? How cool am I? I get to hang with you guys.
I have a question for John. John, I saw the Rock Vault many times with Paul Shortino.
Right. Yeah.
Was that your idea?
So I came up with a concept, and I wrote a 42-page treatment, which was basically the story of my life growing up hearing music from the 60s, Radio Caroline out in the sea, going from, and on one side of the stage I had an AM radio station, and then I brought it to my friend David Kirschenbaum, who was an entrepreneur, record producer, produced Tracy Chapman, Duran Duran, and he was an A&M executive, and he kind of helped me put it all together. And you know, it was the number one music.
There was some other guy involved.
There was a guy called Harry Cal, who was the producer, who got an investor involved. Right. And you know, it was great. I had Elvis's old dressing room, and that's
I mean, I've been there many times with Paul, and I love this show, and all my friends were in it, and Howard Leese was in it when I saw him, and
great show.
I brought Howard in, I brought Paul in, I brought Tracy Guns, Doug Aldridge. It was cool. I also got Lou to do a couple of shows with us.
Wow.
Mickey Thomas.
I didn't know that you were. I remember seeing you play bass, and then they had this guy from Bon Jovi playing bass too.
Yes.
Is that
it all went a bit funny and got into some legal shit that as usual with something, you know. But it was a great time, and I was happy to be involved in the creation of it, you know.
Well, it's cool about the whole reinvention, about doing that. You know, you created something out of nothing. You're a part of something that really grew. I mean, I saw it several times. A great performance, a great concept. How about Rockstar Supernova? I mean, let's talk about. I didn't expect that response from you, Gilby, but I mean, you know, you got Tommy Lee, which is another guy I can't imagine too far from Axl up here, kind of.
I know. I seem to hang out with those guys.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's you, bro. Maybe it's you.
But the Supernova thing was interesting because what happened was the first season they did it, which was just called Rockstar, was for In Excess. Mm-hmm. Well, when they first started it, they put a call out. They were thinking of having like an all-star backing band for the singers. Because it was very important to them that they represented like rock and roll rather than the pop. kind of music. So they wanted a live band. And so they put out a call, and I auditioned for the backing band. And my band I auditioned with was Steve Gorman and Johnny Colt from the Black Crowes. I would play guitar. Ryan Roxy from Alice Cooper's band played guitar, and Dizzy from Guns N' Roses played keyboards. And when we auditioned, the producer, Mark Burnett, kept asking us to play more songs, play more songs. And, we did it for a couple hours, went by. And then they called us like the next day. He said, we decided we're going to go in a different direction for the backing band, but I have something I want to talk to you about. And so he said, I think next year we're going to try something where we want to start a band, like start a band from fresh, get a couple guys together with some names, and then we'll audition the singers to be in it. So when the next year came along, they called and they said, hey, put some names together for your band. And I did. And Tommy Lee and Jason Newsted weren't on my list. Yeah. And so what happened was Mark Burnett ran into Tommy Lee in Malibu somewhere, and he told Tommy about it. And Tommy goes, oh, my God, I want to be in it. And if you guys know Tommy, he's very excitable.
Oh, yeah. He's like a little kid.
Exactly. He's very excitable. So Tommy came aboard, and when Tommy came aboard, the whole thing changed. Yeah. And Tommy's going, wow, let's call Jason. He's not playing with anybody. So it then became myself, Tommy, and Jason. And Dave Navarro was actually the one who was the host of the show. He wasn't in the band. He was the host. He's kind of the one who talked me into it because, to be honest, being in the backing band didn't sound so bad to me, but being like a part of the show, I was had some reservations. I never thought that rock and roll was really represented right on television. They always kind of candied it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we had conversation, and Mark Burnett and Dave Navarro, the ones who talked me into it, and they said, look, we will never, ever tell you what to say, what to wear, or be yourself. We want you to be yourself. And so that's kind of what happened. It's like we really, we got to be ourselves. We started a band, did it. It was a tour, a record involved. And I actually had a great time doing the band and doing the TV show. But, we had to do the band business, touring and all that. It started getting a little silly.
And that kills it, just like everything else, right?
Yeah. When the lawyers got involved, it started getting funny.
Oh, yeah. I was with Ozzy. I was with Ozzy when we took them, Motley Crue, on their very first tour.
Oh, my God.
And I saw it like John Bonham stuff being done, like the spin and grab the cymbals.
Yeah.
With Tommy. And I said, wow, dude, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get it? He goes, from John Bonham. I said, well, indirectly, you got it from me. Because I used to do that with
You're being me.
With Vanilla Fudge,
Yeah.
And he didn't believe me. So after the tour, he came over to my house. I had this big house in Sherman Oaks. Mm-hmm. It had like a 4,000 square foot house with all these saunas and everything. So he came over to the house, and I showed him videos from the Ed Sullivan Show.
Wow.
1968. I said, there it is. He says, wow, dude, I can't. He says, dudes every other
Dude, yeah.
Dude, I can't believe it that you did that before Bonzo, dude. Oh my God. And then first he walks into my house and says, man, I got to get a crib like this one day, right? And then he ended up, where he ended up. But then I showed him the end of the song, Shotgun, which was very similar to the end of Rock and Roll, which was done 4 years before.
Yeah.
And when he saw that, he went, dude, I can't believe it. So then we became buddies. I would go to his house when he was married to Heather, and we'd watch Gene Krupa videos, the old videos on his big screen TV, and we'd be talking about stick spinning and all that. We'd go up in his drum room and screw around. And it was like a little kid. It was always like a little kid,
Can you imagine the video that was on there before the Gene Krupa one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do. I think we do.
Hey, just for the record, my house is 4,005 square feet.
Yeah.
These brothers are always one-upping each other, man. Every week.
That was the old house. Not the
It's
new
that
house.
5 square feet makes the difference.
That's what we say. It's always that 1 inch that counts, right?
My driveway's
That's what
4,000
she
square
said.
feet.
Hey, John, take me down the timing and your involvement. You were friends with Jeff Lynne. You were supposed to be part of ELO. You were part of ELO 2. How did that whole thing?
Yeah, actually going. It's I always loved ELO, and going to drummers. It was actually Bev Bevan who contacted me, and a guy called Peter Haycock, who was in the band Climax Blues Band.
Sure.
And Jeff had decided that he didn't want anything more to do with ELO. and do his solo stuff. And the guy's a genius. He's a songwriter, singer, producer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the extra Beatle, basically.
Yeah.
And Bev asked me to join, and I said, "Oh, this would be really cool." And this was just before Asia, and I went to 44 Parkside, Wimbledon, which is where the offices for Jet Records were, and met with Sharon's dad.
Ah, yes.
Mr. Don
Don
Arden.
Arden.
Yeah.
The infamous Don Arden. And
I know Don.
Yeah,
I just
know
come from being managed by Bill Curbishley from The Who
Yeah.
to meeting with Don Arden. And then actually, thirdly, after that, was Simon Napier Bell, who was actually the guy with Raiding the Rockfall, who came up with the original idea of having a show with well-known people on. But Don, I'd heard all these stories about him hanging Robert Stigwood outside the window and
Legendary.
and kidnapping their accountant and beating him with a paperweight. But he was a tough cookie, and it got into a lot of negotiations. I went over to the States at the time to work with Jim Steinman on pre-production at the power station, and it never came to fruition for me. Jeff Lynne didn't want it to be called ELO. They wanted it to be called ELO Part 2. Mm-hmm. And then during that time, I got asked by Jeff Downes to join Asia. And I went, yeah, I'm leaving this disaster. And I remember Don Arden calling me up and threatening me. Nobody leaves me, son. Watch your back, all right?
Wow.
Because they used to do it with... in the original days with bands, with Black Sabbath in the original days, he said he'd smash up a venue if the band didn't play there. And if the band wasn't playing there, someone would come round and smash all the windows and everything.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was the Birmingham. It was the Birmingham Mafia.
One of the bands. Yeah, he managed one of my bands I was in called World War III. But
I remember that.
And that's probably what it wound up being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gilby, tell me, first of all, would you ever do anything with Steven? I mean, he's coming by us too. Would you do a walk-on with Adler? Would you do...
Oh, Steven? I love Steven.
Yeah.
Steven's great.
One of the first shows that Steven did when he kind of was getting back into things, he went to South America with me. I used to... Most rock bands do well in South America, and my first solo record I did in '94, we actually had 3 top 10 singles in Argentina. And when I went down there, I did shows with Aerosmith, and one time when I went down, we wanted to do like a special guest thing, and they asked me if I'd consider playing with Steven, and I said, yeah. I go, Steven's a sweetheart, and we did it, and he was fantastic. You know, you know, as you drummers know, you know, you're either born with that groove, you know, and he's got that groove. And I'm a huge Matt Sorum fan, and I love the way Steven plays with that swing.
And you know,
here comes the story.
We told this story before, but Steven went to one of my drum offs. You know, the drum offs. I started it with, and Guitar Center sort of took it from me, but I don't know what year it was, the second or third one. We were doing the drum off outside in Sherman Oaks when they had the store in Sherman Oaks.
Oh yeah, the big one, yeah.
Yeah. So we did it in the parking lot, and Steven came down with Slash, and Steven's mother.
Oh yeah.
And I called him Steven Older. Because they spelled it wrong.
Oh my gosh.
And he didn't win, and he actually was freaking out, you know. Yeah. And his mother came up and started yelling at us for not picking him, and Slash was with him. Slash told me that story.
Funny.
You know.
Well,
Pretty
when
funny.
we first came on Play by Place, when I first met him, I thought he was kidding. He's like, "Hey man, I really love your place, man. I'm having a great time." I thought he was kidding. His voice.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And after all he's been through, we're like,
He's
man,
overcome some big challenges
Oh,
over
man,
the years.
man.
especially
Yeah.
especially recently. It's again like, but he's an amazing musician.
But you know, the way I look at things, guys like Steven and Tommy, they're very genuine.
Yep.
They're
Yes.
very genuine. They're very
Like
real
loving,
people. You
loving.
know, exactly. And I got no problems with any of that. I mean, you know, he really cares about music.
Yeah.
He's proud of that
he's
record.
a good guy. He's a good guy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He is
We have a
really good
question from our buddy Francois in France. Wants to know from either or both of our guys, is there anybody that you guys are following now or you think was on the cutting edge or a really cool band that's out now?
guy. All of us? And all of us?
No.
Everybody except Vinny.
Thank you. Thank
Good,
you.
because
Especially our guests, because I know you're managing one now, Carm.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some great bands out there right now, young bands. I think the band Rival Sons are incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
they are.
they have a great sound. You know, and their music, every record, they're getting better and
And
better.
they're classic, and they're classic sounding, you know.
Exactly. Like, it's just rock and roll, you know, which is what we need.
We're
And
gonna
they're
have Dirty Honey on the show in a couple of weeks.
They're another
Yeah.
great young
Oh.
band.
Greta Van
Yeah,
Fleet's another one.
And I'm managing
Yeah.
this band called
Yeah.
Kodiak, which is a young Van Halen kind of band.
Right.
Wow.
And Greta Van Fleet gets so much stick about, you know, how similar they are to Zeppelin. It's like, well, it's a lot better than if they were being a bloody DJ, you know.
Oh.
So we all work from our influences.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's like saying someone, that opera singer, he sounds like Pavarotti. I mean, you kidding me? I mean, that doesn't suck. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber, I think, are the two.
Very close.
Really, yeah.
Very
I
close.
think
They got
I
a
think in
future.
the Greta Van Fleet case is just because there's such a small sample size of young rock bands, you know,
Yeah.
they're going a little harsh. It's like, you know, when I was young and I was buying records of whether it was Zeppelin, Alice Cooper, Kiss, or Aerosmith, I bought everything.
Yeah.
Every Foghat, Ted Nugent, I
yeah.
bought everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't judge them too harshly. It's like I was just so excited to get music. I think you got to be happy with the new young band making music, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Gilby, tell us really briefly before we have to close our show, but tell us about the gospel truth.
The gospel truth. So, guys, I have a new record coming out April 23rd, and this record has actually been done for 2 years. It's been done for a while. We kind of put it back. We were just about to release it right when the pandemic hit, so we put it off, hoping to play live, and it got to a point of we just got to get it out. But I got some great drummers on it. Kenny Aronoff is on it.
Yeah.
Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction is on it. Matt Starr's on it. The great thing about being a solo act is I don't have to be stuck with not stuck.
I don't know,
with just
Vinny. He
one
didn't
guy.
call me. Did he call you, Vinny?
Yeah, he did. I told him.
I told me I can't
passed.
afford them.
He passed.
But that's
No,
what's great to
again.
me about being a solo artist is I can have a combination of different guys, drummers and bass players.
He
Nikki
sent me a
Sixx played
bunch of.
bass.
He sent me a bunch of charts that were written in pencil.
Yeah. Yeah.
The full circle. The full circle.
I
So-
couldn't even
so
see him. I
What,
need my
is
glass.
is it gospel? Is it gospel?
No. It's just the gospel truth's just a name. It's it's my
Oh,
truth right
I
now.
see.
It's all rock and roll. It's loud guitars, man.
Yeah, cool.
Well, we need everybody because our show is taking off, and that's the gospel truth because
There you
people are
go.
loving it. It's our 44th episode. Next week, we've got Kofi Baker and Dweezil Zappa. We need everybody to share, check our Spotify channel, check our what else? Our podcast on Apple. I mean,
iHeartRadio and
iHeartRadio.
Apple
We're
Music.
all over the
Yeah,
place.
all over.
Our YouTube channel, subscribe to. We need you guys to help us out there because I'll tell you what, we are becoming these two guys are becoming an international.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Ron.
Yes. What?
We can't make it next week.
Gilby, John, what are you guys doing with
Yeah, there
the
you
co-host
go.
next week?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'll
Takeover.
You got to
Gilby, I'm
get
giving
two
you
other
more
Italian guys. You got one. And,
Gilby, I'm giving you more time they gave you for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, so at least you got a week to prepare. Anyway, thank you guys. Gilby Clarke, John Payne. Love you guys.
Thank
See
you,
John
guys.
Payne
Thank you,
at
guys.
the
Thanks for doing it, man.
Arcada August
Thank you.
28th.
Cheers.
Be safe. It looks like we're going to be opening up really, really soon. God bless you
Yeah.
all. And here, salute to live music coming back, right?
Right on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have a
right
great
on.
week. We'll see you next week on
Yeah.
Hanging and Banging.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Cool,
guys.
guys. Thank you.
Good night.